to our second part of our Chalet Corner this week. I'd like to introduce, we have a very special guest. I'd like to introduce Pip from Suicide Bunny. Everybody clap. Yay. I want to say thank you for joining us on this week. I really appreciate it. Just a couple things. I know most people know how or why you kind of got into the juice business. I mean, give us a quick rundown again, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. No, Suicide Bunny never started to be a company or anything like that. The mission was to get one person to quit smoking, and that was my husband. So we really, I didn't have a problem. I bought my first starter kit. I was kind of good, and I was a pack-a-day smoker, but I was able to get off with house juice, really. My husband struggled a little bit more. We bought everything on the market, everything, and he was still out behind the car, hiding out, smoking cigarettes. It was tough for him. So after a lot of research and, I was terrified of nicotine. I was really terrified to even start this endeavor, but I called PG and VG companies, nicotine companies, flavoring manufacturers, and I actually had a friend that was a liquid maker, and I called him and spoke with him, and after all of that, I decided to start mixing, and mother's milk is what did it for him, and kind of the rest is history. It's kind of started all from that. So,
What is mother's milk the first juice that you came up with, that you put together?
No, it was the third.
A third one. So how did you come up with the concept of Suicide Bunny?
As far as the name?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I was an artist, and I loved painting, and I love self-expression, and suicide girls are very beautiful to me. They kind of express themselves in a very artistic and forceful way, I guess, and I think they're beautiful. So suicide comes from suicide. Bunny kind of is twofold. I think they're bunnies. I think they're beautiful girls, and my husband's always called me. He actually always has called me Pip the Bunny, because I work all the time. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I don't stop working. So, Suicide Bunny.
Gotcha. So are you a former smoker? I know you mentioned your husband is. Are you a former smoker as well? Have you tried, what are some of the options that you've tried in the past before vaping?
Oh, like as far as everything I tried to quit smoking?
Yeah, like the patch or little
patch, gum, Nicorette, I kind of went through the gamut of everything. And then I got an ego, and, that was my first one. And it actually took me a long time to get off of it. I kind of liked it. But it doesn't work for a lot of people, and understandable. But, that's kind of the thing that took me, got me off. So, yeah. And I was about a pack a day, 3/4 a pack a day to a pack a day.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I did, maybe 2 packs, maybe sometimes. So, how long have you been vaping, by the way?
Oh gosh, it's been 2.5 or 3 years now.
How much of a difference have you noticed? Obviously, everybody, we always say that yes, smoking's bad for you, but how much of a difference have you noticed health-wise? I mean, you can breathe more, you can run, you can.
Immensely. Like, I can taste food. I can breathe. I don't wake up coughing. It's a huge difference, and really it was probably 3 days after I quit smoking that I could tell the difference. It was pretty immediate, going from cigarettes to vaping, that it was, I felt 100 times better, it was a huge difference.
I know we've talked a few minutes. What do you have a particular device that you prefer to use? Something that I know you maybe a box mod, a mech mod, a dripper, or a tank, or what do you like to use?
I have many, and I can't see, I do like a box mod. It was funny because this probably 6 months ago, I got a Hexome, and I don't know if I can actually say the name or not.
It's YouTube.
A box.
Say what you want. Say what you want.
No. 6 months ago, I got a box mod, and it lasts a long time for me. I don't have to change. I only have to change the batteries in the morning, and then pretty much before I go to bed, I change them again because I do vape in the night. I'm a chain vapor, but and then a Kraken. So that's my atomizer of choice. I love it. I cannot get off of it. I still do like a steam turbine. I know I'm going old school here, guys, but I think it was a great Addy, and so steam turbine, Kraken, but I am a little more fond of Kraken.
Do you have a preference of like a coil build or a setup? Like what ohms do you have a preference? Do you like sub ohming? Do you like kind of middle road, or what wire? What do you like?
Yeah, for a long time I was at 1.0, 1.2, and then I kind of started building a little lower. And now I generally prefer anywhere between zero.4 and 0.6. So those are kind of my sweet spots I've found over time.
Do people give you a hard time? Like because I know for the longest time, she's like, "Can you build my coil? Can you build my coil?" No, I don't want to build. Finally, she now builds her own coil. I think she still uses like a 0.2. Obviously, as another woman, you can give encouragement. Do you build your own coils, or do you have someone else build them for you?
Occasionally. Now, I will tell you a funny story, and a lot of people don't know this. Before I even started making juice, I won a contest. I won a coil building contest for a UWIC. Do you guys remember mesh? The UWIC. I don't know if you guys even ever built a UWIC or know about a UWIC, but it's like an old school build. And I made a video. I built it the shortest time, the best wick, everything. I was great at building with mesh. I struggle a little bit with eco wool and cotton. I'm not good with it. And I know you just have to stick the wick through the cotton. I mean, I know, I understand that, but I struggle a little bit. So I do occasionally have friends or my husband will help me out, but I'm working on it. But I do prefer those builds now. I like eco wool. I like cotton. But yeah, I'm great at mesh.
Yeah, I could never. That's the one thing. You and I are opposite. I don't know about you guys. I could never get the mesh to work properly. I mean, I know you gotta pre-wick it, or you gotta burn it, fire it up, and make sure you get all the stuff off of it. You gotta set it the right way. I've worked with it. I've messed with it for hours. I was like, I gave up. It's just easier. Get some coil, get some wire, wrap it, throw some cotton in it, and I'm good. So actually, you could teach me some things. That'd be good. Hey, I actually would learn something. But no, it's good because when you should see when she makes coils, she's very meticulous on how it looks and how it sets and how this happens. So it's kind of cool to be able to know that other people have the same struggles that I do, or that you do, for example. So let's get into some juice. I want to talk about your juice. It is phenomenal. You mentioned that mother's milk was the third flavor. What were the other two that you came up with first?
The very first flavor I ever made was a watermelon, actually, a watermelon flavor, and it was awesome. I loved it. My husband loved it too, but it still didn't get him to quit smoking, but he loved it. And then I kind of worked on melons because I wanted a melon vape. Like, I really needed a really good melon vape. So I worked on melons, and Madrina was born. But it was, of course, just back then it was like melon one, or, whatever. And then mother's milk I started working on. And that was kind of a thing where, I mean, it was kind of a crazy experience making that juice because it was kind of these flavors are not going to work together, but I'm going to try it anyway. And I did it. And then I ended up adding one last flavoring to it. And that's kind of what made it pop. And that's what birthed mother's milk. So it was kind of a crazy experience.
One of the most popular ones. Like when I started vaping, I don't know, Reese, I know that's Mother's Milk is one of his favorites, all-time favorites. We have a lot of people come in. Sucker Punch is another one. How soon after that you mentioned Madrina was the one. What was the second one you came up with?
Madrina was the second. The first one was a watermelon.
Oh, it didn't have a name.
Like a Hubba Bubba watermelon gum type thing. Yeah.
So Madrina
It was
and then Mother's Milk.
It was never released.
And then how soon how soon after that did you come up with some of the other ones like the OB and then the Sucker Punch, and how soon after that?
It took me almost 8 months to get the 4 original Suicide Bunny flavors. So it was kind of spread over a long time, and some of the flavors were trial and error and error and trial again, and tweaking and things like that. But yeah, it was a long time.
Did you work directly with, I guess, somebody that made juice, or did you start developing it yourself? How did that come about?
Yeah, I had a friend that was a liquid maker at the time, and I talked to him a couple times, but he never really, and that's kind of coming into this. Becoming a liquid maker is difficult. It's difficult for a lot of people. People don't want to help you. They don't want to really give away too much information, and that's great. I appreciate that. It's the nature of the beast. But I talked to him a little bit, and he wouldn't tell me much. But it was really talking to flavoring manufacturers, and once I felt confident that I knew what I was doing, as far as handling the ingredients and the nicotine properly, then I was kind of like, okay, well, let me just experiment, and it kind of took off from there.
So whose idea? Was it you or your husband's idea to actually, or did a friend maybe say, hey, Pip, we need to market this. We need to sell this. I mean, where'd that come from?
It's a funny thing. My husband and I are vapers, and we're part of the vaping community. And so we go to all the vape meets in Dallas and all the club meetings and all that kind of stuff. And I would be vaping it, or Scott, my husband, would be vaping it. And people would be like, hey, what are you vaping? He'd be like, try this. And they were like, especially, it was Mother's Milk. That was the one that was like, people would try it and they were like, what is that? Where can I get that? And so for a long time, probably I would say 2.5 months, people were coming by my house, and I would set it out on the porch, I want to say crack house. You can edit that out, but it was like
crack house of liquid.
Yeah, it's like
crack house.
10 people a day or something, and I'd leave it out on the porch for them in bottles, and that's kind of how it started. And then we kind of, one night I was talking to my husband, and I was like, this got you to quit. Think about all the people that we can help. I mean, it wasn't like, let's go on make this big company, but I was like, let's help these people, because a lot of the local people were quitting, and they were like, I haven't had a cigarette since I got on Mother's Milk, So for me, it was kind of like, how can I do this to kind of get this out to more people? And I went to a trip to Austin, and then after that, I got an order from a guy that used to have a huge online website, and he made it like a 500, or not a huge order, but like a 500 bottle order, and then it kind of went from there. So.
And that's probably where the Mother's Milk, like old days back in the 40s or 50s, when you just set out the bottle of Mother's Milk, no pun intended. Say, here, you're the milk lady, not the milkman. Did you run around in your big box truck and your big loudspeaker? Get your milk, get your milk.
Just like the milkman, I'm just giving stuff out on the porch. And, it was kind of a crazy start, but it's definitely grown, and we've learned since then, and built a clean room, a lab, all that kind of stuff, which I knew nothing about at that point. When SB started, and it's been a really cool learning experience, and so.
So I know you and I talked briefly before we get into the new line that you have out. I know there's been some attacks here recently. Some people, for some reason, singled out your company. I know some of the other companies. We did some other interviews. We have some more coming up. What do you know? There's a reason why people decided that they singled Pip out. I guess maybe because you're maybe the most popular. I know the FDA is still trying to figure out how to regulate, and the diacetyl scare. What's your take on all that? I know you did a few-minute excerpt on Facebook, and you released that. I don't know if you want to go in a little more detail. What was that all about?
First and foremost, I would say it was absolutely a singled out attack. I moved into an area that maybe I shouldn't have moved into, or not me, but suicide. It makes me sad when someone poses as, wanting to help or further the community, and it's actually doing the opposite. But it's really, for me, I think it's awesome because it grows me as a liquid maker because, I'm always wanting to learn and stay ahead. And I actually have a team that strictly researches. That's what they do. And we are always trying to stay ahead of, as the industry advances in making liquid, in health concerns, and all of that, we're trying to stay on top of that. So it just kind of pushed me. And I'm like, yeah, this is important, but really, I would encourage everyone, to read and to research and not to operate on, to operate on fact rather than fear.
Right.
You always, it's kind of like the Ebola thing that's going on in Dallas right now. Everyone's like, I'm going to shelter up and stay in my house. And I'm like, research it, find out what's really going on. So I always encourage people, and I have posted tons of blogs and articles on my website, thesuicidebunny.com. But, yeah, it's kind of a thing where you really have to research it. And people are trying to operate in things that scientists have not even been able to prove. Mm-hmm. And furthermore, I have posted articles from scientists from PubMed that prove the opposite. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, my lab reports are there. It does not contain diacetyl and very low AP. And I'm very careful not to add anything extra to my liquid. I vape it. My husband vapes it. And I.
That's good.
But I want to tell you congrats, really, because you turned the story in the right side to the just opposite side and be positive about it, because this community is something positive about all this time to the cigarettes, and now smoker people can do it something like a hobby and do something similar, but in the positive side. And it's amazing how you turn your story to something positive, because now it's true. You're growing up, and all this community growing up more because these people tried something negative, but it's not. It's just something positive. You're welcome.
All right, so let's get into some juice. What juice does everybody have? I know we all love the original line. What do you guys have? I've got the King. Let's quickly touch while we get our mods and everything set up. We're going to vape on this. I know you've got a brand new line out. There's four flavors. How did you decide to come up with a new line? What was the concept behind the King's Crown? That's kind of a cool theme.
Yes, it's, I kind of felt with suicide, this is my artist side kind of coming out, but I felt like I had expressed everything and I wanted to tell a new story. So King's Crown, each label expresses an emotion that I've had as a liquid maker. It's an emotion that I've gone through or something that I've experienced or felt on this journey. So it's kind of cool, and people are always speculating, oh, well, I think she's expressing this, and people kind of try to guess, but it's fun for me, because I get to express another piece of me or another part of my personality. It is different than suicide, but you can still tell it's suicide.
It's great. It's artistic. It's great. It's really, every time that I show the new line to customers, something that I can hear is wow, it's great. It's artistic. It's all these kind of opinions is really positive because it's artistic and resume.
Did you personally design all of the different labels? I mean, how they came up? I mean, they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I actually, with Suicide, I was working with an artist in Canada, and Sucker Punch is the only label that I actually drew. And if you look at it, you can tell that it's very raw. Because I drew it by hand and scanned it into a computer, or scanned it in and then created the label out of that. So but the rest of them are all done on, we're done graphic design. Yeah, graphic design. And then for King's Crown, I worked with a new artist in Philadelphia, and he's actually my artist now that's going to be doing all upcoming lines. But you can tell it's a kind of a totally different spin, and it's a totally different feel. But I kind of would sketch out or tell them what I wanted to express or what I kind of wanted the label to be, and they would create it for me. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. The artistic, it's like they come alive. I also like, there was a disclaimer on the bottle that says, "Keep away from children and pets. Store in a cool place, dark place." Where's the other one? There was another one that was out. Somebody showed me. Is it Fight Your Fate? Oh, here it is. This product contains nicotine. Keep out of the reach of all the beautiful children and the naughty ones too.
Very good.
So here, although we don't carry, this is one of the ones, the derailed. This is the derailed here in the store. Just the artwork itself is phenomenal. What's the profile for, you mentioned earlier, the derailed again?
It is a cinnamon snickerdoodle cookie with an exhale of banana. So.
We also have the next one we have. These are the ones, some of the ones we do carry. This one, particular one here is in 6. The OB, the Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
That's beautiful. This
and the OB is, it's the original bunny. Mm-hmm. So that is actually, it's very similar to the mother's milk that I created before I added that last secret ingredient to the mother's milk. But it's different because there were a couple of flavors that I swapped out. So it's kind of a cream cake kind of thing. But.
And of course, this is the Sucker Punch. And of course, we've got the infamous Mother's Milk, which, if you watch another one of the episodes, this was Paul's first true love.
Yes.
That was yours.
Yes.
What are when you've got the list there, what are the profiles on these? Let's see, original bunny, the sweet cream cake is what we've got listed down. It's basically the Mother's Milk without the strawberry.
It's very similar, and some people pick up on it more, but some people get just more of a cakey. I think for me, Mother's Milk is more, not a custard, but like a cream, strawberry cream kind of thing. And for me, I get a lot cakier, like it's a little heavier, to me. So.
And then the Sucker Punch is a creamy passion fruit. Is that right?
It's very close.
Very close. What are you going to leak out a secret? What type of passion fruit that is?
It's a dragon fruit-esque cream-based type thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Mother's Milk, which a lot of us we can't get enough of, is we have a creamy strawberry milk.
Yeah, it's very close.
All right, and then we'll move into the King's Crown line. This is their brand new line. This is Bound by the Crown, and here's the beautiful artwork on that. The Bound by the Crown, sweet custard, spice, and ripened stone fruit. And then we go into Claim Your Throne.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, as you can hear everybody in the background looking at the beautiful artwork. Yet again. The Claim Your Throne, sweet cream, butterscotch, and brown sugar. This is one of the ones that for some reason we can't keep in stock here in the store. This is Fight Your Fate. Yet again, the artwork.
And I have a funny story about that one.
No, please do.
Okay, that actually, Fight Your Fate, I actually made for myself, and I wasn't going to release it. My husband picked up my mod one day, and he vaped it, and he was like, "Whose juice is that?" And I was like, "I just made that." And he was like, "Is that for Kings?" And I was like, "No, I'm not putting that in Kings." And he's like, "Yeah, you are." And I was the other one that I was talking to you earlier about was a one-off recipe. It was the beginning of summer, and I wanted a strawberry lemonade to vape myself, and so I kind of created that, and I wasn't going to put it in. I felt maybe it's not complex enough to be in the line, but it's still complex but simple at the same time, and I feel like it's well balanced, where the citrus doesn't overpower the strawberry. I feel like it's a really well balanced juice, and I love vaping it. So yeah, it went in. But
it's funny that you say that that because here we sell this like a half cake on a
That's awesome. See, and
Yeah.
it almost was not. If Scott would not have picked up my mod that day, it never would have been in King's Crown. So.
The last one that we've got here is one of my personal favorites. We have here, this is the King. Now, on the website, which is where I came up with when we have our menu here in the store, complex experience infused with notes of, well, you'll just have to figure this out. And then on here, we guess peanut butter, somebody else, we also guess popcorn. What do you think is?
And I did not mean like to be mean or as far as the figure. I didn't mean that to be like, hey, you got to figure. But really, for me, it's so complex because when I made it, I kind of didn't know what I was going for. It just kind of was like, I think these might work well together. And but peanut butter is definitely the prominent note that you should receive. There's a little, I don't even want to say this, but there's a little bit of tobacco in there, and I hate tobacco.
Oh, naughty.
Yeah. I hate tobacco vapes, but there is a very small percentage of tobacco in there. And then there's some other things, and there are some notes where people could pick up on a popcorn type flavor or something like that. It's one of those things where it took a long time. Fight Your Fate, when Kings dropped, Fight Your Fate was by far the number one. That's what people wanted, and kind of over the last couple months, I think people are starting to get the King. I want to say get it. Like they're kind of like, oh, there's something to this, But for me, I love it, and not everyone will, and that's fine, and that's great. But I do. I like it a lot.
What are you vaping on there in your device? What do you have again?
Yeah.
That's what I have in mind. Well, let's go around. What do you guys? Does everybody have kind of the individual bottles? We all have going on here. I've got King.
I'm rocking King.
He's got King.
And I bought yesterday.
What do you have, Paul?
I've got Fight Your Fate, Mother's Milk.
Fight Your Fate, Mother B. What do you guys have down there?
Mother's Milk.
We got Mother's Milk, John.
Fight Your Fate and Sucker Punch.
Fight Your Fate, Sucker Punch. When? What do you have?
Bye by the front and thank you, claim your throne. Thank you.
So I want to take. I guess we'll just kind of go around and give. Again, I've got the King. What are the PG-VG ratios for most of these? Or are they all the
Most
same?
of these are pretty much right around 70 VG, 30 PG. So 30.
30. Because I've heard some people say 60-40. I've heard 50-50, and I've heard 70-30.
Yeah, and you can tell too, like, the way I always test juices, I'll just put a little bit right here, and you can tell, like, the 50-50s will kind of dissipate.
Mm-hmm.
The 70-30s will kind of leave a little bit of slime, so you can kind of tell. You can shake it too, and the viscosity of the juice, the way the bubbles rise, you can kind of tell the thickness of it, the viscosity of it. So
I can't shake mine too much because it's like half empty. So. Yeah, everybody. We all, as you can see, we were vaping on all these, and Will's here is John. Everybody, all the bottles are. All
I see it.
Yeah, we have.
Well, I got a brand new bottle of Mother's Milk Big Shot. Yeah, I see it. Like little bubbles, they're like hanging out.
I think that I can speak for everyone here that we thank you for all your time, your hard work, and your efforts that have gone into two superior lines. We just appreciate people like you willing to take the time and the effort to do the research to give us a safer product.
I do, but I so appreciate you saying that, and just in response, everything from the recipes, that my team gets so mad at me because I'm like, nothing's ever perfect, because my biggest thing was when I was buying juice off websites and stuff, and I would get a bottle of juice and I would be so disappointed, and it would be up in the shelf. I had 40 bottles of juice up there, 50, 60, 75, it kept growing, and there was like one tank pulled out, and I was frustrated with that. And that's my biggest fear as a liquid maker. And they get so mad at me, but I'm like, I cannot let people down. I don't want to let people down. It makes it, the thought of someone getting my juice in the mail or buying it from a shop and going home and just being like, this is terrible, I can't vape this, that's what scares me. And that's what pushes me to try not to do that. And I know it's going to happen. I know that maybe it's not going to be for everyone, but I really want to try to make sure that they get a product that is quality and truly a safer alternative to smoking, as far as the way it's mixed in a sterile environment, as far as the ingredients that are used, all of that. Like, I think about that. I stay awake at night thinking about how I can improve it, how I can do better. And so thank you for appreciating that and noticing that. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
It's not just juice; it's life-saving liquid.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. And I don't know.
And that's for real. I mean, I tell it was Pat that got me vaping. I've only been vaping for like 4 or 5 months now.
Like,
or 3 months. About 3 months. And I tell people all the time that he saved my life. But but it goes beyond that. It's the juice too. And I mean, if you made terrible juice, I just wouldn't comment, but you make amazing juice. So it's life-saving liquid for me, and it keeps me vaping. So it
keeps you off the cigarettes.
And that too. I mean, I had 2 packs of cigarettes in my pants when I got my first mod from Pat, and I tossed it in the trash here. So I mean, and I haven't bought a pack of cigarettes or anything. I mean, fallen off the wagon a couple times, but can't even smoke a whole cigarette without wanting to vomit. So, that's my little vaping life story. And it's not, bam! So yeah, so it's really life-saving liquid, and don't stop. You better not. And if you are, let me know so I can get some of that juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, before you close the doors, okay? I need 500 mil vat of this and this. All right, that's it. Okay, whatever you got left over, just throw it out there.
That's the best to me, and that's what makes everything. All the stuff, all the negative. That's what makes it worthwhile when people are like, you helped me quit smoking, or just feeling like I had a small part to play in someone getting off cigarettes is like huge to me. If you guys are on Facebook, I'm sure you saw, and read the comments and all of that. And what was funny is that finally I was like, okay, let me see who these people are. Let me talk to them. And a lot of the accounts that were posting negative stuff on all that were created that day.
Oh, trolls, internet trolls. Yep. And that's what brings me to this next statement. We all know that nothing in life is free. It's still about a product that, one, takes you away from smoking, and 2, keeps you away from smoking. Mm-hmm. And for any juice company, no crap, you're in it to make money. That's like a musician that that gets signed. Yeah, you're gonna make money, but if you're not doing it for the music, then it's for nothing, and you're not gonna be there forever. So, I mean, if other juice makers or even if it's mod making, box making, whatever making, okay, you're all out there to make money, but if you're not doing it because you love doing it and you're trying to attack other people to think for 1 second you're going to go above them, then you're going to find out the harsh reality, which it's not going to happen. There's too many of us, the consumer, that wants your juice. If I want your juice, I honestly could care less about what someone else says. And then by you coming out and saying, here's my paperwork, which a lot of companies probably wouldn't do that, right? But for you to come out there, step out there, be like, okay, you want to attack me, fine. Here's my paperwork. I got it tested, and this is what they said. So who are you going to believe? You're going to believe me showing you this piece of paper, or are you going to believe me? So take me or leave me. Either way, there's 10 more people behind you that are going to buy my product. So, I mean, it is sad. It's very.
And that's the beauty of America, and then that's what I tell people when they, if they're at, and like, the consumer has a choice. You don't have to buy it, but I'm transparent and I'm real and I'm telling you, this is how I make my liquid. This is what I do. This is the lab reports. This is the products I use. I operate in making the best thing that I can possibly. It's just like painting. When I was a painter, I wanted to create a masterpiece. I feel the same way about my liquid. I don't care. I don't care if I have to go to Egypt to buy paint.
Your
if it's
love in your juice. It's like good cooking, right? If you love cooking, every bite you'll taste the love in each bite. Okay, and if you taste the love, I want more of that love. So keep making that juice, and I give two shits about what anybody else says. Yeah, I cuss. I'm sorry. I gotta say, you done got me riled up in here, and I did it to myself. Okay, but it's the truth, because since I'm so new, I'm still a baby in this community. Okay, I really don't speak out and say a whole lot. They'll all tell you that. All right, but it's a shame that there are other companies out there that want to bash other companies or whatever because their butts hurt. Okay, well then they need to wake up. They need to figure out either crap, get off the pot, and do better. If you can't do better, then stay home.
Yeah. Amen.
Go big or go home. That's it. And you did this because you wanted to for one person. And we taste that. And we experience that every single time. So every drip is, just one step further to a longer shelf life. So I didn't mean to make you cry. I have that effect on some people. Sometimes it's sheer fear, but other than that, but it's the truth. It's from the heart.
Yeah, having a good quality product, you can taste the difference in the quality of a lot of the products, a lot of the different companies. There's thousands of different flavors.
Oh my God,
there is very few that Suicide for one. Yeah. We have 80-ish.
Yeah.
We have we have 12 different companies or whatever. We've got more coming in, but it's something that's a good quality stuff. Plus, also by doing this, we give people a chance to experience your passion and what you have to provide, and being able to get up close and personal with how the vaping community should be. This is what it is. Yeah. And I find, I tell people when Wayne and I went to a hockey game, we got on the subway. One lady was screaming at her because she was vaping, but yet don't smell mine. And I go, What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh, they're vaping. And I got a chance to tell them what vaping was, because there were some smokers. I could smell it. And being able to push them. You don't have to go to my store. Go somewhere. Get off of that stuff. And I can firmly believe I stand behind my product and what I sell, because I, like you, I personally vape it, and I would say Suicide Money. You need to get that.
Yeah, if we don't like it, we don't sell it.
Right.
We can feel when it's just a company who try to make money.
Yes, a throw together juice. We can tell the difference. Right. We can tell the difference between the throw together and you took time.
Yeah, right. And another like this one is not because you hear. We can feel the complex. So it's what we try to sell in our shop. It's something that that is enjoyable. Simple.
Reeves, did you want to give any questions for Pep?
First, I wanted to say thank you for making the juice, like y'all said. Me personally, it's like my favorite line. Everything else that I vape off of, I compare it to Suicide Bunny, and especially Mother's Milk. If it's not up to par with it, I won't vape it. And I always send all my juices around Suicide Bunny all the time. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Or John?
I just love it.
And I love you, sir.
We've noticed the new things that you've got. One of the new things that Suicide Bunny came out with is things available in 3-neck. We want to thank you for that. A lot of companies don't do the 3-neck.
I do. And just real quick in response to everything, thank you guys also from the bottom of my heart. You guys are part of my family, being a vapor, and I love you guys, and your love for the product means the world to me, and I hope that you know that my love for you is reciprocated, and so thank you for that. But yes, the 3 milligram we have. Being a vapor and buying juice, I know I had a lot of people like, oh, I have to buy a 0 and a 6 and mix them. And I was like, well, that's not good. Let's fix that, So I did the 3. There is a new line coming out. It's a Max VG line. So it's called it's only going to be available in 0, 3, and 6 milligram, but it's Max VG, no PG, just straight VG all the way, called the Cloud Company. Yes, there will be 5, and it will be a dead 5. There will not be any more released. I'm dead set on that, trying to, but yeah. So 5 will be released. It's probably about 6 to 8 weeks out, but if you check on my website or on my Facebook page, or if you're friends with me on Facebook, I'll be leaking out labels and things like that. I felt for this line, it's kind of I wanted to kind of go old school, like whiskey label. Colors will be different, label will be the same on all 5, but yeah, it's just kind of a different thing. So I'm excited about it though.
Anything new that Suicide Bunny puts out, we're all about having. Yes. Everybody gives thumbs up. We're all.
I wish I had 2 more hands.
Is there now? You mentioned earlier. Do some of the things that we ask some of our other customers? Do you think that vaping is a fad? How long do you think it would be around? I mean, what's your take on all that?
I think that now we're living in the generation that is going to kill smoking. I think that smoking is going to become non-existent. I think that people are becoming wiser. People are getting educated on the harms and risks. And, vaping is it's about harm reduction. It's not 100% safe. It's about harm reduction, but it is something that is, far better than smoking. And I think that if the FDA was able to shut it down, they would have done so already.
Right.
They cannot. It's it's going to keep growing and evolving, and it's exciting because it is evolving so quickly, and new things are being learned. And me as a liquid maker, I always want to stay on the forefront of all the information that is shared, whether it comes from the government or comes from doctors or wherever the source may be. I just want to make sure that I'm always learning and evolving as the community and the industry evolves. So, it's not a fad. It's not going anywhere. I think it's exciting, and we're kind of the pioneers, and we're on the forefront of it, and I think that's really neat.
So we'll do a quick recap. We've got the original line that came out. There's 5 different flavors. There's Derail, Madrina, the OB, Original Bunny, Sucker Punch, and Mother's Milk. And then the brand new line that's out now currently is the King's Crown line, Bound by the Crown, Claim Your Throne, Fight Your Fate, and of course, the King. And so look forward to the new Cloud Juice coming out.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh yeah.
So again, we really appreciate you joining us here on Chalet Corner. We really appreciate your time, and again, we thank you for bringing forth an amazing product. So,
thank you.
And here at Vape Chalet and Chalet Corner, our motto is, as you guys already know, smoking is definitely prohibited, but vaping is always encouraged.
Yay! That's awesome.
Throw up your rock fist if you're feeling it when I drop this. Show 'em how we blow this pop. Let's make it hot. The shotgun with the